Don Rickles is always a very busy man. Starting tomorrow, you'll hear Don's voice in the new animated film called Quest for Camelot. On June 5th, he appears in a brand new motion picture called Dirty Work, and he'll be headlining Harrah's Reno May 21st through May 24th. And it's always a pleasure to welcome Don to CBS, and thanks for coming over, especially tonight, because this is strictly between you and me. You can say anything you want tonight, and nobody will know.
I don't think that.
You really don't?
I think I'm important, and you're certainly important.
Yes, I am.
I mean, the world doesn't get off. Jerry Seinfeld is wonderful. The show is wonderful. But I know a few people that say, I don't want to watch that.
Yeah.
I mean, and those that watch us will fall in love with us because you and I are Charlie Dynamite.
Adorable. Adorable.
Hello, America. I mean, don't worry about it.
I want to call you Grandpa Donnie. You're going to be a grandpa, aren't you?
Yeah, do you believe it?
Yeah, I do.
And all I worry about, my daughter told me, I said, if the kid gets one spot on the pants, I walk. that is my biggest worry. That the kid's going to go, Dad, Grandpa, boom, a little mustard on the pants.
So what do you care?
And I got to punch the kid out. I mean,
so what do you care? You know, I've had a granddaughter for 8 years now, and you're in for the greatest treat of your life.
They tell me that.
Oh, it's
Meanwhile, I took 8 Valium, and I'm laying down a lot.
When did you get the news?
Well, she called, and I had a hint about it, but we didn't know for sure. It all happened. She told her mother. Most of the mother.
Of course.
And my wife said, "Don't say anything." But Mindy is. And I thought Mindy had a twitch.
Well, she did.
Yeah. Well, her husband had, he made a move one night and bango. Anyway, so now it came back to me. I don't know exactly how it happened, but I knew. And it was funny. I didn't react the way I thought I'd react. You know, a lot of people come up to me and they go, "Hey, Don, you're going to be a grandpa." Yeah. And you know, Tom, and I love my daughter. She's a wonderful kid. But I wasn't like, I was like, yeah, great. In other words, it hasn't really,
sunk in, right? Yeah.
Till the kid's in the room with a spoon going, wah, and the farina's on the pan.
When that little kid, boy or girl, smiles at you the first time, you will melt like butter in a frying pan. They are so good. They're so good. And the great
money I got to come up with.
Yeah, but the great thing about and good you got it, huh? Yeah, yeah. But the great thing, yes, we always check before people come on. Yeah. And the great thing about a grandchild is when you absolutely can't stand the kid anymore, with the butter on the pants or whatever you say to her mother, your daughter, get her out of here. And you take her home, and you and Barbara have a nice night.
Now, all said and done, and I got married late in life, and I was 38, hunting, searching, I felt like I was on safari, and I kept wandering around with, going, psst, little girl. And finally, I met my wonderful wife. So I was 38 years old. So now to be a grandfather at this stage of life, it's
a bonus. It's a great bonus.
It really is.
You know, we were in New York doing the show a couple of weeks ago, and all of us have favorites there. All of us who went back have favorite places to go to eat and to drink and whatever. What were your favorites when you lived and worked in New York?
Which I think you know, Tom, because you were around in those days. Danny's Hideaway. That was the place where Danny took care of all the actors. Yeah. All the actors. I mean, he used to come to the Copa when I worked in the Copacabana, and he used to bring a table for every actor, your opening night, all 20, 30 people, and sit right in the front, and you say, good evening, terrific. Yeah. And Danny's Hideaway always comped the check, and I wasn't looking for that, but in those days, he was the most gracious host. And Danny's Hideaway was New York. That was
it was hot. It was New York, late night, supper, that
absolutely.
That sort of thing. And you and Barbara were married in New York, were you not?
No, we were married in Brooklyn.
Well, that's
Ocean
New York.
Parkway, and it was my manager at the time was a fellow called Joe Scandori, Mr. Soul, and we had this wedding in Brooklyn, and we had all Italians on one side and all the Jews on the other. And the Italians come up with bags of money, and the Jews came up with a tie. And so it was a wonderful arrangement, and I couldn't say anything because I didn't want to start my car and have problems.
Yeah.
So, and in those days, they all came to the wedding and went, "Oh, wish you luck." They all talked like they were a horse. Yeah. I don't know why, Gunpowder was slipping over the lip. Yeah. But I pretended everything was normal, But I had all those kind of guys.
You mentioned a name, and I know this man when he worked with you, Joe Scandori, rest his soul. He'd always say, Don would be happy to come on. You had that high-pitched voice. He was such a cute guy.
He's an Italian puppet.
How did you find him?
Huh?
How did you find Joe Scandori, your manager?
It was during a bank robbery. No, I found it. He saw me a long time ago in a place called the Elegant. Now my manager is Elliot Weissman, who was a good friend of Joe's. And when I do that all the time, "How are you, sweetheart?" He falls on the floor. And that's the way Joe talks, as you did. Joe is known for that. Yeah. He was quite a man. But Elliot Weissman now is my manager, and we're very happy. And I miss Joe for his great sense of humor.
Yeah, he was a funny guy. Anyway. Now, when you played the Copa, who was in the house? What kind of a crowd would come in there when you played the Copa back then?
You ever hear of Joey Gallo?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Hold it down, huh? My mother, rest her soul, she was great. Joey Gallo one night said, come on, sit with us. And we sat down at the table, and there were guns around. You know, in those days, guns. And I said to my mother, I said, Mom, these guys got guns. She said, they're wonderful people. These are the people that are going to make you a star. Do you understand? A star.
Did you do it?
Yeah, well, my wife does that. They all do that.
Oh.
Jewish women do that. They're tasting chopped liver while they're talking. So, you know what?
Look how he's cracking himself up.
You know what?
You're so cute.
We have no audience. I'm a riot.
You're hot.
I've got one grip sitting there going, Dress up, huh? Anyway, guy's sitting there with a moose shirt and a dead deer on his lap. Anyway, so these guys were great. And those guys, it was, I don't want to use the word mob, you know. I just saw that movie the other night, you know.
Yeah, the one on about the
about
screen.
Gotti and all. But, hey, a lot of, my day, those men were terrific to me. I don't mean Gotti in a sense, but the whole atmosphere. Those guys ran the clubs, and they were such gentlemen. They really were entertainers. And Sinatra would be the first one to say it. Yeah, and poor Frank in those days, you know, they used to pick on him because he would be this guy with that guy. But those are the fellas that were in the nightclubs.
They ran the clubs.
Yes.
Exactly right.
And Jules Podell, rest his soul, he was the best nightclub owner. You remember Jules Podell?
Sure.
And he used to sit there and go, hey, no. And I pretended like I understood him. Hey, no. And I went home at night and said to her, you want to owl? Hey.
And she went.
We didn't need that, Tom. I did it very funny, but we didn't need that. Just do what you do best. Interview me and shut up. Okay, Tom. Wife, now I'm gonna be in heat tonight. She's gonna lay there and go, find your own dinosaur.
He's hot tonight. Don Rickles.
But you're worried about Seinfeld. Hey, he's got $6 billion. He's sitting in New York, chasing that young girl, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't worry about it.
We're here and we're hot, right? Don Rickles will be at Harrah's in Reno on May the 21st.
And by the way,
yes,
touring all summer with Joan Rivers.
Touring all summer with the one, the only,
she's the greatest,
the inimitable,
I'm delighted to share the
Joan
stage.
Rivers.
Right.
Now, she open for you? Is that?
We don't have her open for. We share the billing and so forth.
Yeah.
Some nights I open, some nights she opens, and boom, we alternate. You know, and she's great because she's got a wonderful life. She's got a lot of jewelry, tons of money, and there's no problem. I just keep running after her car saying, drop something on the highway. Anything. Just drop a few bucks. She's a wonderful girl.
Back with Don Rickles after these messages. With Don Rickles, here's our friend Mindy in Levittown, Pennsylvania. Hi, Mindy, and welcome to CBS Late Night.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Mindy.
Hi, Don.
Hi, Mindy. You got my daughter's name. Well, she has your name, Mindy.
Well, how old is she?
75.
No,
Why? You from immigration? What does it matter? No, she's
I just wondered who was older. I wanted to ask you, did you have a good time on your honeymoon?
Why, did you hear something? I mean, yeah.
Well, they did.
Hey, I rolled over a couple of times, but I had a good time. My wife, when I made love to her on the wedding night, we always make up different things. Even when you're married a long time, you just can't make love 1, 2, 3. The other night, she was a barge in the Mississippi. And I was the captain going, hitting the dock.
You know, do you remember, can you hear me?
Snap out of it, huh?
No, okay.
Go ahead.
Do you remember Lou Krause from the Latin Casino?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
The orchestra leader.
Right.
Right.
When he passed away in '85.
I know that.
I called your wife. I was the one that had to call and tell.
Really, it was a great moment for me.
Oh, yeah, really. No, he was a great man, though.
He was. Lou was the best.
This is the old Latin Casino in Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
That's right.
Dave Duchamp.
Dave Duchamp used to have the little hand curled up.
A band before that.
Pardon me?
He had played in a big band before that, and...
I know that, but I'm not Ralph Edwards.
That's a big with Frank Sinatra. No, it's just that you were very nice back then when that happened, and all these years I've wanted to be able to say thank you.
Well, that's very sweet of you. Thank you, dear.
Mindy, thanks for calling and thanks for watching.
Oh, you're welcome, and this has really been a big thrill because I've wanted to talk to Mr. Rickles for a very long time.
Now your dream came true.
I know. Oh,
Yeah.
Are you and Joan Rivers going to be appearing in Atlantic City or anything?
Not in Atlantic City. She don't like the water.
Oh, okay. Well, anywhere like within.
Well, we'll be around the country. You'll find us. Look for the sign.
Okay.
All right. Good night, Mindy, and thanks for calling.
All right, and thank you very much.
And happy Mother's Day, Mindy.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
I'm not a mother, though.
That doesn't make it. Oh, yes, you are. Bye-bye.
It's such a thing. Say goodbye to the woman. She'll take up the whole show.
Talk to me here about a guy that I've heard stories about, Lee Marvin. You know, well, I've heard from a fellow who does publicity here in town.
Lee was a great actor.
Yeah.
And Lee had a problem with booze. He always did. But this is common knowledge. But he was a marvelous guy. When he was straight, you know, it's like Jekyll and Hyde, you know?
Yeah.
So we're sitting in Danny's Hyde. I don't know who told you about that. We were sitting in Danny's Hyde.
I'll tell you who after the. I'll tell you, there's a publicist here in town named Jim Mahoney who used to work with Lee Marvin back in the
Jim,
old
I know well.
Yeah.
He's still running after Frank's car. Sinatra's car. Wait up, Frank. Anyway, Jim sits around. He's very Irish. Misses his mouth when he drinks. Anyway, so...
he has spilled more than we've...
Yeah, that's right. And he's got about 25 kids.
Yeah, right.
When he's sober, he dive bombs to the wife. Anyway, so Lee Marvin, we're in Danny's Hideaway one night. And it's after the Copa show, third show. In those days, he did 3 shows. And it's about 2:30 in the morning. And my wife, God bless her, is an absolute valiant. I mean, she's a controlled woman. She is terrific. And we're sitting in the restaurant. And behind me at another table is Lee Marvin. The place is closed. Danny has the doors closed. And I'm saying to Danny, I'll have the salad and what have you, veal and pasta. And we're eating. And Barbara says, listen, behind you is Lee Marvin. Don't turn around. Because I think he's feeling good. Don't say nothing. And I go, so what does that mean? She said. And I hear behind me, and I said, what is he doing? She said, he's doing karate chop. Karate chop?
Oh, yes. Well, he was a Marine, wasn't he?
No, are you kidding? He walked around with a bayonet in his pants. Anyway, so he was doing, and I was sitting there going, I said, just relax, sweetheart. I'm in charge. There's no problem. She said, he looks a little treacherous. This could be a problem. With that, he comes over to the table. And as you and I are leaning over, and he sits down. And I know Lee a long time. And he sits down and he goes, and I'm eating. It's true. Yeah. And the wife's going, would you care for tomatoes? I said, what is wrong with you? I said, this man is out of control. She said, well, what are we going to do? She said, don't worry. I said, I have a butter knife under the table. If, God forbid, he gets crazy, I got him covered. With that, she said, are you really relaxed? Now, this is after 5 minutes of conversation. I said, yes. She said, well, I don't know how to tell you this. Are you enjoying your spinach? I said, absolutely. She said, well, you've been eating his cigarettes. Oh, he's putting into the spinach, and I'm going. I ate 7 pounds of tobacco and a little spinach. That's a true story.
We have all seen you with Johnny Carson over the years. But talk to me here about the time when you and Carson were both playing, I believe, Harrah's in
the Sahara.
The Sahara in Las Vegas,
right.
And he was playing one room and you were playing the other at the time. Did you ever bump into him when you not on television? You know?
No, he used to sit down at the end of the bar. My last show at 3 in the morning. And my joke is, you know, I make fun of people and I say, there's a black gentleman sitting there, and that black gentleman, blah, blah. And Carson would get up from the bar and go, where's the black gentleman? Show me where the black gentleman is. I was making it up. There was no black gentleman. And I'd say, the Italian guy, show me the Italian guy. Boom, boom, boom. And he would do that because he liked to, you know, in those days, hit the ginger ale pretty good.
Yeah,
you know.
Johnny enjoyed a cocktail now and again.
Really? Anyway, I know. Once my house wasn't there. Anyway, but he was a wonderful artist, as we all know.
Oh, sure.
And he loved to have fun. He really did. He used to hang out, and I was very flattered because he used to come and see me at like 5 in the morning. We had shows in those days, 5 in the morning, and he would come and sit at the end of the bar, you know, and really give me the jazz. But he was fun. He was always fun.
Of all the people you've been on the air with, you know, as a guest, would he be your favorite host? Did he treat you the best?
Well, in fairness to David, who I adore, Letterman, and Jay, of course, you know, and Larry King, all the talk guys, and of course, Hugh, you know.
No, you know the 2 things I like best about Larry King? His face.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have cataracts? Cataracts, I said that to a black guy once. He said, that's a sailboat. Anyway,
Now, don't send me letters for
no,
laughing,
that's
for
a joke. They
laughing
know
at me.
that. For God's sake, anybody with any brains knows that.
I know.
So I must say that the thing about Carson, he had there was only one Carson.
Of course.
Jack Parr, who I never had the pleasure of working with him just once in my life, in my career. He was always wonderful, too. I was in Florida. I was an unknown guy, and I came on as a taxi driver. I'll never forget it with Jack Parr. I said, you're a moron or an idiot. And he said, who are you? Get out of here. The man didn't know who I was and didn't care. Yeah. And I don't blame him, because I was very brash in those days. And we became friends over the years, and he's a wonderful gentleman. I always loved his work. But Johnny had because I was on with him, he always left it open, Tom.
Yeah.
He always left the space so that you could be funny. Always left that space.
Yeah.
And he always made you look good. He was never out to top you. He was out to make you look good. As David, who I adore, Letterman, you know. Oh. And Letterman, but they're different, apples and oranges.
Of
course. It's a different world now.
Yeah. We're with Don Rickles, who'll be in Quest for Camelot as a voice. Then Dirty Work opens on the 5th of June. And in the meantime, Don and Joan Rivers will be at Harrah's in Reno on May the 21st.
No, Joan Rivers won't be me.
Joan Rivers will not be with
She'll
Don.
be touring with me around the country. I'll be at Harrah's by myself.
By yourself.
Sitting in the room with peanuts trying to hit the maid.
You certainly have a varied schedule, don't you?
Yeah, I'm busy.
Don
I don't want to sit here every night and talk to the lamps. Like you do, you know. Hey, that's why you're going to take... Oh, by the way, good luck. I understand you're leaving for about 6 years. Good luck. I just want to be the first to say bye-bye.
Back with Don and you on the toll-free as time permits after this brief timeout. Back with Don Rickles. Here's Teal on the toll-free in Riverdale, New York. Hi, Teal. You're on the air. Hello.
Hi, Tom. Hi, Mr. Rickles. How are you tonight?
Hi, Teal.
I understand you visited the White House several times. What is your favorite memory about that?
Well, I think the White House itself was with George and Barbara Bush. The president was wonderful to me. I was there with Ronald Reagan, and I had that pleasure. And then I did the inaugural with Sinatra for Ronald Reagan, which was wonderful. But the White House itself, they invited me to be for the Israeli embassy to come to a dinner. But unfortunately, we couldn't make it at that time, so I wound up with the Tunisia delegation, and they all came with sheets and rifles. And like a dumbbell, I wore my armband. So it was kind of hectic. But that was an exciting time, and I leaned over to Mrs. Bush and said, I think I could get knocked off. She said, what are you thinking of this? I said, well, there's one guy staring at me. Anyway, so it's fun, though. It's a great treat to be at the White House. And all the guys next to me kept going, boom. As they were laying there on the floor, they threw sand on the floor so they'd relax.
Uh-huh.
He liked it a lot, Teal.
Oh, I'm sure he did. We've actually met.
Really?
Mr. Rickles and I. Yes, in
cool that
Atlantic City.
I have a family.
You asked me what my name was. You were on stage one night.
Oh,
and,
really?
You said that my parents must have wanted to make me feel miserable the rest of my life and give me a weird name. It was very funny.
Yes, thank
very
you, Teal.
Funny. And
Yep.
I enjoyed you very much. And, Tom, we're going to miss you a whole lot.
Thanks, Teal.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye now.
Be in touch.
I've never asked you about the time that you worked, you were studying at the American Academy for Dramatic Arts.
Right.
And you were there with some rather notable names. You studied with Anne Bancroft.
Yeah.
And you studied with Jason Robards, Grace Kelly. Did you want to be a serious actor?
Tom Poston, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, I thought my mother, again, she was a great woman. She was a big, I said this to you before, she was a Jewish pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And she got up in the morning with a helmet and with a whip, and she kept me going. She really...
Don?
And she said, you know, Don, it would be good to have that kind of background. And Don Rickles, with my image, I went to the American Academy, and you had to audition. And I was very fortunate to be accepted. I was delighted. And I spent 2 years there, and I learned a great deal. Well, when you were there, they did things, which is my favorite thing. They said, today, you're a tree in the wind, which is one of my favorite things to do. And I would just stand. And we used to go to the Carnegie Bar across the street and have a couple of vodkas before we did that class. And so when I came in, I was going, ooh, I'm a tree. Ooh. And I'd start spitting up leaves, you know. and I was an idiot.
Were you a fast ad libber and a guy fast with it?
You know what? The way we're leaning over, I think the two of us are in the bathroom.
No. But you know what I mean? Were you glib then? Was it hard for you to keep your mouth shut in the acting classes? Were you impatient with it a little bit?
No. Quite the contrary. I was scared to death, and I wanted to do well. And I used to be a kind of an actor that they say ate the scenery. When they said roll them, like even in Casino, when we did Casino, Robert De Niro would say, "Where's the gun? We get the gun again." I said, "The gun's over here." Yeah. Everybody left because I was always overpowering.
Yeah.
And Scorsese was great, of course, and they always kept me in control. But I always had that. That's from the stage, from being the stand-up, always with that power, you know. So when I was in the academy, they kept saying, "Oh boy, the guy's going to eat the scenery," which I never really did. But they were on top of me all the time, and it was a great. Hey, it's good to have a background.
Oh, no question.
And that was a great
I just
thing.
wonder if you, because I know that when you're on stage, not that you're impatient, but you move quickly from one subject to the next, and I wonder if the discipline of stage work or movie work would be tough for you, because you're always going 100 miles ahead of the crowd.
Well, when you do movies, it's apples and oranges. You know, it's a whole different ballgame. But still, that stage training and that American Academy background did me good. Did me very good in my career. It was a big help.
What about when you worked with Donald Sutherland? It was, what was it, Kelly's Heroes?
Kelly's Heroes.
It's become a cult picture now.
It is.
Clint Eastwood.
Nick at Night and I run it quite a bit.
Eastwood was in that picture?
Yeah, Clint Eastwood, yeah, who I carried. And
Telly Savalas?
yeah,
Your Telly?
Telly, he was a special guy. Telly, rest his soul, he was great.
Loved to play games, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Gambler,
He always had the cape, and he was always with the broads.
Yeah.
So, that's your Telly. That's what he. And Clint was great. You know, Clint's idea of a tip was a picture of himself. He said, do you want it good luck, Clint, or just... But he was great. And I said, I want to live the way, when I went there, I'll never forget it. We went over to Yugoslavia, my wife and I, and my daughter, Mindy, who now is going to have the baby. Was a little baby.
Grandpa Don.
Little tiny thing. And we went over, and they said, what do you want, Don? I said, well, MGM, I said, I'd like to live the way Clint Eastwood lives. He's the star of the movie. That I know Clint Eastwood, to him, heaven is a pickup truck and a dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
With a hunting rifle and, you know. So,
yeah, a couple of shovels.
We lived in a shack. I had to move. I said, what is this? Clint said, isn't this great? Look what I got. And he had like a closet with dead beaver on the wall, you know. Yeah. To him, that's heaven, you know. But he didn't have a worry in those days. He was Mr. Dynamite, you know. All the women looked at him. He was happily married at the time. And now, you know, his career, he's a commuter.
Yeah, in a shambles, as it were.
Yeah. Runs from one altar to the other.
You know, the last time that George Segal was here, a couple of weeks ago, he was so thrilled.
He was great.
He was so thrilled that he and Richard Benjamin had come to see your show, and then I guess visited you in the dressing room afterwards.
And I thought the show, well, he was on the show here, I thought he was going to talk about it.
Yeah, so did I.
He forgot about it.
No, he passed
it.
Yeah.
Take a cab. We don't need Rickles anymore.
He just passed it. Yeah.
Got him comp, boom, in the dressing room, like an equal. Treated him and Dick great. Never mentioned it to you. Boom. Just I was up there, boom. Then he went on with his career, with his banjo, and who cares? You know what I mean? Where's he going? You know what I mean? There's a riverboat. I think he could get hot again.
You told me earlier, and we all know, you got married late in life, 38, 39 years old.
Yeah.
Did you...
Put the covers over my head a lot alone at night.
Well, no, I was going to say, you know, Letterman used a line the other night with Warren Beatty that Beatty gave a whole new meaning to the word single.
Funny, yeah.
How were you single? Were you active with the ladies? Did you...
No, you know, they all felt sorry for me. I certainly wasn't a lover. Look at me. I was never a lover.
Yeah, I understand.
But
there's such a thing as there's such a thing as mercy, you know.
I didn't need that. Okay. We were doing fine till you opened up that Irish mouth with the mercy thing. And that's a kick. You're going to pay for that, too. But I got to tell you, I know I was the kind of guy, even as a young man, when I was a young man, women were afraid of me. I mean, girls even right out of high school and then on to when I was a serviceman, when I was in the Navy as a young sailor, they were all afraid because I was always doing the jokes. They said, we make love with this guy. He's going to, get on a
make a joke.
He did it, you know. And I really just, for my insecurities, that's what kept me going, to be the class clown, so to speak. Even in the American Academy, even in movies or wherever I work, I always think there's a good time to throw in a few laughs. I mean, you know. And so that's what I did. So women used to step back. But I always, on the road, I always worked with the singer. And somehow the singer and I always worked something out that I would do a tune at their place, and then they would do a tune at mine.
Gotcha.
And then we'd make it harmony night.
My best to your family, sir.
Thank you very much.
I hope that your grandchild is a joy to you, and I hope to see you
Oh, it
again
will
when the Joan Rivers tour is underway.
The Joan Rivers.
The Joan Rivers, Don Rickles, Joan Rivers
Right.
Victory
Or
Tour.
Joan Rivers, Don Rickles. No matter.
Yeah, the Victory Tour, as it's called.
Right.
Don can be seen in Dirty Work starting on June the 5th. Don appears by himself as a major star at Harrah's in Reno, May 21st to 24th, and then the Victory Tour with Joan Rivers through.
And then on the side, I visit Bob Newhart's house and tell him how great he is.
That's correct.
Just to relax.
Yeah, exactly. Next, the scandal that rocked the FBI in Boston after these messages.